And I'm moving on, I say I'm moving on. It is right that I be on board, for in spite of the small reward, as she hastens to her destiny, she ain't leaving me, no how she leaving me. I sailing with the boat, sink or float, I sailing with the boat.
Is that a double dose of Trini? We had him earlier and you've brought back Trini. Trini has had some very, very good songs there. And I know that Trini views TV6, so a very good morning to Trini. All right, so the Cari-Bois Environmental News Network has its online platform with an expanded regional outlook on the health and wealth of the Caribbean's natural resources. January 2023 marks the relaunch of Cari-Bois, now a Caribbean-wide network of environmental content creators dedicated equally to educating the population. So we do have on the line via Zoom now, we do have Ardene Sirjoo, and we also have Tyrell Gittens. Good morning.
Good morning, Marlon. It's great to see you here.
Ardene, you know, you're sometimes here, you know.
It's good to see you in the hot seat, Marlon.
Yeah. So good morning again. Ardene, tell us a little bit, why the relaunch?
Well, Cari-Bois was launched back in 2020, just around the pandemic, actually. It came out of an EU project that, you know, there were various partners involved, and it was felt that a platform was needed to tell stories about what was happening in communities. And so the initiative came about to support these community-led stories by training citizen journalists, people in the communities, to be able to do that themselves. And so through that grant, the platform was created. While it is led by the Cropper Foundation in many ways, it really has been a sort of grassroots platform, you know, oriented around those kinds of stories. And so 2 years in, or 2.5 years in, realizing the success of that and the appetite for those stories as well here locally, you know, and through the efforts of the Caribbean Natural Capital Hub, which is supported by the Answer Merchant Bank and Answer Bank, there was a space and the resources to support the expansion of the platform to include the rest of the region, to tell more of those stories. Again, emphasizing the community aspect of it, but also sort of bringing new content creators on board, young people with the vibrant energy, with the passion, with the know-how as well, with the understanding of what is taking place in their countries, within their communities, to be able to enlighten a larger population.
Ardene, there may be some young people who are viewing the program this morning and are interested. What types of stories are you all looking for?
I think Tyrell, as the site's coordinator and editor, would be in a better position to tell us a little bit more about that, Marlon.
Tyrell?
Hi, so thanks a lot for having us here this morning. So what we want to achieve is to empower, as Ardene would have said, citizen journalists, not just in Trinidad and Tobago, but around the Caribbean, to tell stories about the natural environment, because every day we rely on the natural environment, and in many ways the natural environment relies on us. So we want to be able to empower communities to share their lived experiences. It's all well and fine that we have the established media and scientists telling stories about how environmental degradation and so forth is affecting our daily lives and how our actions are affecting the environment as well. But we want to empower community to tell lived experiences from that perspective, because it is important. People living on the front line of different issues like climate change and different unsustainable extractive industries are sometimes the best people to tell stories about those issues.
Yeah, and Tyrell and Ardene, I think that was my next question, because I was going to ask, so is it that you are only looking for good stories about the environment, or you are also looking for stories that may have a negative impact on the environment?
Okay, I'll take it first and then hand it over to Ardene. But we want to give an all-rounded view of environmental issues. So of course, we want to, highlight the positive stuff that are being done to protect and conserve the environment, but we also need to be sensitive and aware of the reality as well, that there is environmental destruction occurring on ecocide, and we want to also give a platform to those stories as well, and in that create a space to have a conversation about how we could create solutions.
Ardene, how do people get involved?
Well, they can reach out to us via socials. So we're across all of the socials at Cari-Bois News, Caribois News. So that's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. They can also email the Cropper Foundation if you're interested, info@thecropperfoundation.org. And Tyrell is very active on social media, so I'm sure you can find him very easily as well using his name across all platforms.
Yeah, and we want to encourage people to look out later on today because we'll also be releasing a new story as well.
Is it that it's a program that is run for a certain period, or is it that persons can make submissions throughout the year?
Yeah, so there is a coordinated side of it. So for instance, Tyrell is responsible for that Caribbean-wide outreach where we get the content creators to write the stories that are relevant and resonant to them. And then there is a side of it where we have journalists or people in communities who have stories to tell. You asked a question earlier about good and bad. And I think what we're really interested in are real stories. That's the point. And it's about education, it's about enlightenment. It's also just about getting us to appreciate the environment a little bit more. And sometimes reporting on all the bad stuff. Yes, you may feel a particular way, but it's also about bringing us closer to that natural environment that we've become so separate from, divorced, disconnected from. And it's really about bringing us closer. And I don't know if you're familiar with Tyrell's work, for instance, Marlon, where he did a lot of that in another capacity, in a previous capacity, where he reported so much and so widely on various species, etc. And I think that's the kind of connection that we need to form, really, so that when people tell their own stories, when people, are moved to write about something that is happening, even an experience that they had out in nature, and you decide to submit that, I think that's really important. But the point of the platform is really as well to agitate and to hold people accountable. And I think that's what the platform has done successfully in its previous 2 years, and it's only 2 years of existence so far. It has managed to just shine a light on a lot of the issues affecting people, as Tyrell says, on the front line.
What has the response been?
So we have had a positive response from, I could say, a variety of stakeholders, not just environmentalists, but we have seen a lot of people in the general public just, reaching out and saying they have this idea or this story idea. We have done some work in local communities here in Trinidad and Tobago in Lopino, where we have had people doing community reporting, and that's what we also want to have occurring throughout the Caribbean. So the feedback has been great, not just from the environmental field, but the wider public. And as Ardene said in a previous part of my career, I've done a lot of environmental stories and so forth, and I would have learned that there is an appetite in Trinidad and Tobago and around the Caribbean to learn about the natural environment, because we have so much here in Trinidad and Tobago and around the Caribbean just to learn about, be it, very unique species or different environmental issues. So yeah, there's an appetite here in the Caribbean for environmental content, and Cari-Bois wants to help feed that appetite.
Tyrell and Ardene, it was a pleasure speaking with both of you this morning.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, Marlon.
All right. We'll speak to you in the future again very, very soon. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. So we are going to a very short break. We do have this image for you of a yellow orchid, and it comes from Steve Lalman.
Somewhere up in Laventille, many years ago,